My name's Teresa Valencia, and this is my final project for EDUC 526. I went back to school starting in 2008 and got my AA degree. Then I went to Pacific Oaks College and got my bachelor's in human development and graduated the same year as my eldest son did from high school. After that, I wasn't thinking about grad school, but I did want to get my multiple subject credential. So I started looking into APU. When my youngest son graduated, I knew it was time for me to move out too. My boys are the best thing that happened to me in my 23-year marriage. They are both happy and doing well at UC Davis. And I know that by me going ahead and getting my education later in life, I'm setting a good example for them. They both want to get advanced degrees. I found out that Azusa Pacific University offered a master's in education along with a multiple subject teaching credential. This was perfect for my needs. I needed to get a degree and find a job so that I could be living on my own. And with Azusa Pacific University, I knew principals and teachers that had gone there, and they were excellent in their fields. I was an aide for 10 years. I saw how important technology was and how it was being used to advance my children with special needs. So it was a perfect fit to get everything that I needed and wanted. In Christy Hernandez's class, we were able to make a web quest. This was very interesting to be able to embed pictures and video into a little website that I would be able to use someday when I'm teaching a class. Also in EDUC 515 with Jason Seliskar, it was great to learn how to use Chromebooks. I got to go to one of his coffee queues and see his actual classroom and we got to learn how to write blogs and how to use QR codes. In Bill Selleck's class in EDUC 514, I was able to know everything there is to know about editing and photography, lighting. It was very interesting. I actually made this little iPad stand so that I could videotape with the iPad, and I used this in the video that I made for the class, and that was about a living field trip on the water cycle. And in Tori Temple's class, web design for the classroom, EDUC 525, I absolutely got so excited when I was able to do HTML and make my own website. I have it set up for a second grade class. I hope to have someday. In EDUC 522, Learning in the 21st Century with Dr. Korduff, we learned all about addressing all of the multiple intelligences within our classroom and also integrating technology into every lesson. We all came up with a unit plan that we would be able to use. Mine was on saving the rainforest, so that I could also address every learner, have different lessons that would involve all of the students. For my action research, I had to change subjects. Same topic, but different subjects. I ended up getting a long-term sub job at my son's old elementary school. And it was fortunate they did have a little guy there in my second grade classroom that could use some modification. He was not identified as ADHD, but he did exhibit some symptoms. We placed a daily tracking sheet on his desk in the morning that I would check before he went to recess, before he went to lunch, and before he went home. And what I was doing was also just complimenting him on good behaviors. So I was ignoring bad behaviors and only giving him praise whenever he was on task, when he was in his seat, when he was doing what he was supposed to be doing. He loved art. that was just one of the things that he would like to work towards. So if I needed to give him incentive, it would be, okay, I know he didn't like to read, so if you read this one page, I'll let you can go finish coloring about the ant farm. Now, the second grade class was working on their own research. They were supposed to find a topic that they wanted to do research on, and he chose cake decorating. So I would also use as an incentive, he can look at my book of cakes back when I used to do cake decorating, and that was also helpful. And he wanted to do research on the internet about cake decorating, so we would use that as an incentive too. By the end of the 3 weeks, by just giving him praise for when he was doing the correct or wanted behaviors, he stopped or decreased the unwanted behaviors. So that was what I wanted to see, if just praise would work with extinguishing his unwanted behaviors. And you can see by the chart over 3 weeks, he did just that. So I was really surprised how quickly it worked. And now for my curricular unit. I chose the rainforest as a topic. It teaches children about one of the ecosystems. It is engaging in that they have fascinating animals and insects to learn about, but also I would be able to involve performing arts and visual arts. I would be able to involve math with studying the data of deforestation. We could write a timeline. We would be doing music appreciation, creating rain sticks, along with the 3D species. We would learn about the foods and medicines of the rainforest. And we would also be sharing this with other classrooms. For the culminating experience, I would have them give a tour, talk about what they learned. When you have a student teach what they learn, then they really get it. The donation pleas that we would write would go on donorschoose.org, and we could actually end up adopting an animal or adopting more than one. The assessment tool used with the Donors Choose writing would be to see if they kept their focus, if they used organization, if they had support and evidence, and if they were using 4th grade language. Apps that we would be using would be Pages, Numbers, GarageBand, ReadWriteThink.org, Talking News app, iMovie, Prezi, Google Docs, Timeliner, Explain Everything, iTunes, Educreation. So they get a lot of experience using technology, as well as an idea of how to do something important for the world. And that's my unit, and thanks to APU.